We've wrapped up qualifying, and we're about to wrap up the season here from the Worldwide Technology Raceway just outside of St. Louis, Gateway Motorsports Park. The final race of the season, the Worldwide Technology Raceway 500, the 2022 Elite Racing League Mega Driver 86 IndyCar Series finale. I'm Tony Donohue. Dave Huckleberry is with me as well as we usher you through what should be an exciting night of racing. Slight chance of rain coming up here, but at 73 degrees, we should get this entire race in the last one of the early 2022 season. A lot of drivers looking for their first wins of the season. I think we'll see a lot of varying strategy tonight throughout the field. This is a very technical track, a very tricky track. Let's go to my partner, Dave Huckleberry, and let's take a look at these standings as we enter the final race of 2022.
Yeah, going into this race, I think we have three guys that are still mathematically possible to take the title. Alex Van de Zandt with a pretty good lead over Victor Del Porto and Adriano Pinheiro. I think the scenario for tonight is if Van de Zandt finishes 14th or above, he will lock in. Del Porto would need to win with Van de Zandt below 14th, and he would have a chance. And for Pinheiro, he would have to win, and Van de Zandt would have to finish all the way down below 17th. The rest of them are just kind of racing for pride and where they finish in the Indian order. Rookie-wise, looks like David Porcelli and Mark Murphy are really close for the Rookie of the Year battle as well. Only 1 point separating them.
Yeah, and you've got the top three there, Van de Zandt, Del Porto, Pinheiro, all guys that have won in this series. Obviously, Van de Zandt, who had a great run last week in that race at the Iowa Speedway. Del Porto and Pinheiro, as mentioned. Jared Rexing, Chad Frankenfield, Justin Fortner, your top six. Those three drivers, Dave, have had really good runs this year, and they've had some really bad luck, which has kind of separated them and kept them out of the championship hunt tonight.
Yeah, and it looks like from looking who's with us tonight, it looks like Mark Murphy will probably take that Rookie of the Year award. Lobby tonight, so he must not be.
Guys like Eric Troiano, AJ Musselman, these are drivers that know how to get it done. They're super fast on every track we go to. And these are drivers that we're going to have to watch out for. Now, the key to the night is a few different things. One, the strategy. When will the yellows fall? This tends to be a really fast track, but as mentioned, it's very technical. If you get a run into the corner on somebody to the inside and that driver ahead of you pinches you off and cuts that air from underneath you, you're going to slide up the racetrack and lose 4 to 5 spots. This track will change a little bit as we go from daylight to dark here over the next 2 or so hours. Turn 1 and Turn 2 are sweeping turns. You're downshifting going into 1. Turns 3 and 4 a little bit more loose. You can be a little bit more aggressive there to get your run down the front straightaway. David, why don't you take it away here as we look at the starting lineup for tonight's Worldwide Technology Raceway 500.
One of our candidates to win the series is on the pole, Adriano Pinheiro in the 56 car, followed by Mark Murphy in the 69. Third is Chad Frankenfield, Alexander Van de Zandt in fourth, Eric Troiano in fifth, Jared Rexing in sixth, Jari Brupacher in seventh, Gavin Hibbs in eighth, Victor Del Porto, one of the other candidates, in ninth, Joseph Gervalia in 10th, Justin Fortner in 11th, Ryan Schuld in 12th, 13th, Alec Balavans, 14th, Chris Wright, 15th, Hunter Smith, 16th, Nicholas Sudik, 17th, Atsushi Kanada, 18th, Mark Rebelas, 19th, Cesar Cabral, 20th, AJ Musselman, and rounding out the field, 21st, Diago Bendetti.
And I believe, if not mistaken, we will check in with Chris Wright, who is piloting that number 16 car throughout the evening. AJ Musselman, not a very good start for him. If we can go back to some other guys in that starting lineup, Jared Rexing, Eric Troiano come to mind. I don't like this. I don't like Troiano and Rexing starting 5th and 6th. These are guys that have had some okay qualifying runs, but they have been so much fun to watch drive their way up through the field and up towards the front here over previous races. So although I'm upset that they're not going to have that excitement through the field charging, I'm sure Troiano and Rexing are very excited in the fact that they are starting in those first 3 rows as we have reached the finale of the Elite Racing League Mega Driver 86 IndyCar Series at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. As the pace car rolls off for the first of 3 pace laps. Looks like a beautiful crowd there. If you've never been to Gateway, it is in the very western tip of the state of Illinois. It's actually in Madison, Illinois, but they call it Gateway Motorsports Park. You can see the arch if you sit up in those bleachers right there in turns 1 and turns 2, which I have done many times over the last several years. You can see into right downtown St. Louis. It is a beautiful racetrack. It is a beautiful scene. They usually do fireworks down the back straightaway. I don't know if we'll have those here tonight, but we certainly hope to see some fireworks throughout the field. Dave, if you don't mind, who are you watching tonight? I know there's a points battle as well, but outside of those 3 points runners, there are still 18 other drivers that are looking to finish this season on a high note with, if not a win, certainly a podium.
I think I'm going to probably watch Chad tonight, Chad Frankenfield. I think he's had some rough goes in the last few races. So I think IndyCar is obviously the thing he loves most. I think he really wants to put good.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at the season that Chad Frankenfield has had. I mean, this is the guy that has had the speed. He's had the pace. If it
I think
hasn't
they
been
went
one
green.
thing, it's been another. And we are off to a flying start here. Green flag is out. And we are underway from the Gateway Motorsports Park in Madison, Illinois, just outside of St. Louis, as we head down into turn number 1. 260 laps tonight. Pinheiro is your leader. Early, a great start here for Chad Frankenfield, followed by Murphy, Van de Sant, and Troiano, your top 5, as we are 1 lap through. Clean and green so far, and Van de Sant looking to make some moves here early.
Yeah, everybody's clean back through the field, looks like. Always good to settle in at these full length races when you have 260 laps. Can't win it on the first one, but you sure can lose it.
Yeah, and we talked, especially at Iowa. Iowa last Friday was a little bit more, you had to be patient. You had to let that race come to you. It was a long race, a lot of green flag laps. That's the racetrack where you certainly couldn't take your mind off things for more than a second, because you're constantly turning at Iowa. Here, it's difficult to pass here. As you see here, there's some moves. Troiano to the outside, I believe that's Jared Rexing to the inside, going side by side as they head down the front straightaway to complete lap number 5 already. This is a fast track. It's very technical, but as you see here, you've got to hope that guy on the outside doesn't come down like this and pinch you off. That's gonna cause your car aerodynamically to drift to the outer wall, and that's going to end, I think, a few guys' nights here very early on as we are underway here at the Gateway Motorsports Park. And Dave, we're going to see this throughout the night. These guys right now just finding where their car is, finding out how it does in traffic, and also finding out these, turns 1 and 2 are so completely different than what these guys are running in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's something I was talking to Chris Wright about. Chris is, of course, a broadcaster for us in a lot of our leagues, and he's going to be running the IndyCar series full time next season. So this is his first race tonight. Chad told him to go ahead and get in. We can look at him there. But that's what we were talking about, that one end of the track is completely different. No, we're just going to talk to us. I don't think we're going to have Chris Wright with us tonight. He was going to jump in the waiting room if he was feeling comfortable, but for a while he's just...
Well, let's let him get settled in here to this very, very, very difficult setting. Not only, a new track to him, a new car than what he is used to. Big shout out to Mega Driver at Mega Driver 86 on Twitter. Provides top-notch NASCAR content from past to present. Mega Driver 86 also provides content from IndyCar to Supercars. Make sure you give him a follow today. That's at 86. We see some racing going on here towards the back of the field and throughout. It is a very, as we'll see here, we'll watch a very difficult track to pass as Grijalva goes to the inside here. It looks like that top lane is working. Ari Brubaker is the guy that we know can consistently run up front. That if that high line is working, it's going to be a 2-lane groove, but I just don't see that high line working as we got a great battle here from about the 8th position on back.
Yeah, dive bombing into turn 3 is a common move you see in IndyCar, and a lot of them are going to try that, but you really have to have it set up and have the momentum and be willing to go in a little deeper. And right now, I think they're just kind of content to run.
let's go on board here with Nicholas Sudek for a few laps as he is a rookie battling to find himself inside of the top 10.
Yeah, you're muted. You're muted.
All right, we're back as we take you on board here with Nicholas Sudek. Just to give you, you can see the limiter going down the front straightaway, downshifting. This is such a technical track. When you talk to any driver that's either running this race or is running in the IndyCar series at the end of August when they go to the Gateway Motorsports Park, it is a technical track, and it's almost like you are driving a road course here at the Gateway Motorsports Park from right outside of downtown St. Louis. As we take a look at the leaderboard here, Adriana Pinheiro is still leading. Chad Frankenfield up to second. Mark Murphy, the rookie, he is currently third. Alex Van de Sant currently fourth. Eric Troiano, Jared Rexing, and Gavin Hibbs, the rookie, first time we've seen him in a long time, he's up to seventh. Yari Brubaker is eighth. Grivalva is ninth. And we are looking at the 10th spot. Nicholas Sudek, we were just on board with, he is up 6 spots. So that's very difficult to do here, but good for him being up 6 spots here so far. As Sudek tries to hold off the challenger behind him, that is Victor Del Porto, if not mistaken, who is currently in the 11th spot. That's the closest battle on the point so far. Again, we've got a points battle going on here. Alex Van de Sant needs to finish 14th or better to clinch the championship. And Alex Van de Sant currently doing his thing, running around in the 4th position. David, I wouldn't expect him to challenge late, but this is the guy that we know wants to win. This guy wants to get victories, but it's at some point tonight, you're going to have to go, okay, you know what? We're content to where we are. I know it's a war of attrition. It's a war of getting there towards the end. And it looks like if he can do that, 14th or better, which is something he's certainly capable of, would wrap up the championship for him.
Yeah, you really don't know what means more to Alex, the series title or the race. He is kind of a guy who always wants to win the race. So, yeah, we'll see that decision process play out.
As we are 18 laps into this 260-lap affair from the Gateway Motorsports Park. Okay, so here's how it looks. Alex Van de Sant, all he has to do is finish 14th or better. Victor Del Porto, he needs to win, and Alex Van de Sant needs to finish 14th or worse. Looking right now, Alex Van de Sant is currently in the 4th position. Elsewhere, Adriana Pinheiro needs to win, and Alexander Van de Sant needs to finish 17th or better. Pinheiro is doing what he needs to do. He is winning this race. And David, if we learned anything, I know this is a little bit different than Iowa. It's a little bit bigger of a track. But Iowa, we saw it time in and time out last week. Your great day could go wrong at any moment.
And it just all depends on where you're running as far as traffic. Let's see, we got about 15 seconds back to the last driver on the lead lap. So about another 10 laps or so, we probably should start seeing lap traffic come into play. And yeah, one little bobble and your night can change.
Yeah, and we saw it at Iowa. And as you come up on this lap traffic, you also have to take in consideration, okay, where are we as far as when can we pit? If we can get to the back of the field as we hit our pit window, why risk being out there in traffic? Let's come in, get fresh tires, Therefore, we know when we do catch that lap traffic, we can at least be fast enough to maybe make those charges and make those passes a little bit easier. Because this is, even when you catch the back of the field and you've got drivers that should be slower or a mile an hour and off the pace, it's still very difficult to find that area to pass and to make those moves work. So it'll be interesting to see here how these leaders approach it as they get to the back of the pack and find themselves coming up on some lap traffic.
Just barely starting to see Benedetti appearing in the same image as Pinheiro.
And when you're ripping off these laps, you're looking at 25-second laps. The best lap of the night so far has been recorded by your leader. It looks like Adriano Pinheiro at 25 flat. Chad Frankenfield in second at 25.08. You're flying around this place. These, we're talking 4 laps a minute. We're already 25 of the 260 complete. So if this stays green, if you're a lap car, David, you kind of got to think to yourself, we got to fight hard. I know this is the leader and I need to be respectful of what's going on, but I can't afford to go a lap down, because if I do, it's going to be hard to get that lap back. But if I can fight for 3 or 4 laps and maybe that pit window opens up or maybe we do see a yellow, I can stay on that lead lap, which is very important here.
I think as a series, we've run 94% of our laps green, so we would anticipate a lot of green flag tonight.
And we need to look at AJ Musselman, who looks like he is out of the race. We can check in with race control to see what happened there. But Musselman, a guy who is very fast, usually contends for a bare minimum a top 10, maybe even a top 5 and a win. Musselman currently the only driver out of the race. If we can get an update on that, that would be great. Musselman, usually a guy that is up there in contention. I want to thank our series sponsors as we wrap up the season here on the Elite Racing Network. C2 Freight Services offers complete freight management services. They are ready to meet your needs today as well as your changing needs in the future. With thousands of qualified carriers in their database, they're capable of handling shipping for every type of goods, from perishable foods to office equipment. Whatever you need to ship, they have access to the necessary equipment, including flatbeds, double drops, fans, tankers, refrigerated equipment, multi-axle heavy haulers, dump trucks, auto carriers, intermodal containers, and more. Again, our thanks all season long to C2 Freight Services. We are approaching lap number 30 of 260. It's been all Adriano Pinheiro. He's led all 27 and a half laps so far. Chad Frankenfield on the start got around Mark Murphy. He currently sits second. Mark Murphy is third. Alex Van de Sandt is fourth. Eric Troiano rounding out your top 5. And yep, as you look here, Thiago Benedetti is about, if we can go on board at the leader here and take a look ahead, he's about 3 to 4 seconds ahead, if not mistaken, maybe a little bit more as we go on board here with your leader, Adriano Pinheiro. So far, David, Adriano Pinheiro being Adriano Pinheiro, very smooth, very consistent, but yet very fast. Well, we want to thank AJ Musselman for being a part of this. We want to thank AJ Musselman for being a part of this all year. He's had some great runs throughout the last couple of races, and sorry he got caught up in some traveling issues. We wish he could be here tonight because we know that he'd be contending up towards the front as we are 31 laps into the Worldwide Technology 500. We're looking at Chad Frankenfield. I like the red, white, and blue here, David, but I'm not going to lie. I was a big fan back at Indy in the Indianapolis 500, brought to you by Richmar Flores. I was very excited to see him running that old school Bill Vukovich scheme.
Yeah, Chad's always really good at picking good liveries and he can have some real good throwbacks.
Well, I'm going to say this. I cover IndyCar for a living. I love IndyCar. I love throwback schemes. So, Chad, whenever you watch this, I want to pick one of your schemes next year. I think he'll let me do it. I want to pick one of his schemes, and maybe we can work on together. I actually spent, David, some time today out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Lucky enough to live here in Indy. was out at the Speedway. It's vintage weekend, so there is a lot of vintage cars rolling out there. Whether it's old school Indy 500 cars, I saw a lot of old NASCAR Cup cars, a lot of cool things out there. So if there's anybody who knows throwbacks and appreciates them, it's me. So I don't know how hard it is to create these liveries. I would imagine it's not as hard as maybe it seems. But maybe we can do a couple throwbacks next year, and we can get Chad Frankenfield on board to drive those cars for us.
Yeah, I know a couple of other series, they always have a throwback race. I don't know that we've had a throwback race for IndyCar, so maybe we should make that happen in old liveries.
Well, I've always said in the NTT IndyCar series that Gateway, where we are tonight, would be the perfect throwback race. You know, under the lights, it is a Midwest race. I think you could see a lot of cool schemes throughout the field, whether it's, you know, the Penske drivers running some old school Penske cars, maybe Ganassi doing some throwbacks. I think there's a lot of cool things that could go on. So maybe we can start the trend here in the Elite Racing League and the Mega Driver 86 IndyCar Series to maybe do an under the lights race here the next time we have a race at night in the series, to maybe do some throwbacks. Dave, if you were a team owner and you had 3 cars that you had fielded in this race, and we were saying, hey, I believe you're a Penske guy, if not mistaken, we were going to do 3 throwback schemes, what would be your top 3?
It would probably be the Marlboro. That was always my favorite Penske scheme. I did like the Ray Hall Budweiser logo for a while. That was really good. And then probably the third one would be the Miller High Life Danny Sullivan throwback. That is an excellent one.
One of the best there is, and it's funny you say the Budweiser Bobby Rahal, because I was at Road America on Saturday and Sunday, then spent today at the track. They have a throwback Budweiser. It's not the Budweiser car that he won the 500 in, but it's a throwback late 80s Budweiser car. And I actually took my Bobby Rahal Budweiser Racing 1986 Indianapolis 500 hat up there and was wearing that. So chime in on Twitter. Maybe Chad will decide that this is something we want to do. As we look here, there's a battle for the lead with Chad Frankenfield gaining here on Adriano Pinheiro as we pass some lap traffic here, Dave.
Yeah, I think the lap traffic had something to do with Pinheiro having to slow up a little bit and let Chad get up on him a little bit. And how far he has gap up. Probably another 5 seconds up to the next car, which would be Chris Wright.
Let's go on board here with Chad Frankenfield as he battles to itch in closer to the leader, Adriano Pinheiro.
No problem.
All right, 42 laps in. Adriano Pinheiro continues to lead. He's led all 41 so far. Chad Frankenfield, though, filling up his rearview mirror in the second position. Frankenfield going for his first win of the season. The rookie Mark Murphy holding his own in third. Alex Van de Sant is fourth, and Eric Troiano is fifth. Dave, here early through the first 40 laps, Alex Van de Sant doing exactly what he needs to wrap up this championship.
Yeah, he looks very comfortable. Nobody anywhere near him on the track, so that keeps him nice and safe, and he's just putting in laps.
And that's what you got to do. You got to get to the end and just make sure that you're there. You don't want to get caught up in somebody else's stink. You don't want to make a mistake that's going to put you out of this championship. So far, so good. A great drive here tonight from Adriano Pinheiro. So we certainly like to see that. That's certainly something that we're going to keep our eye out here over the next, little bit over 220 or so, 220 laps to go. So a lot more racing to be played out here. And David, it looks like we're coming up here shortly on some.
We got a caution.
field. We have a yellow flag. Yellow on the track. Yep. Oh, we got a car on the wall. Two.
Take a look at what happened there.
Let's see it here on the Whiskey Cask replay. All by himself here. Mark Rebeles again.
Oh, he got some help.
Got some help. Looks like he was slow in the corner and then gets some help and booted to the outside wall to bring out our first yellow flag. So a sigh of relief here for some of those guys up front that weren't too far off of their pit window. Dave, we should see a pretty busy pit road here when it opens up.
Yeah, definitely everybody. Race control. Right, if there's any tallies on yellow flag cause.
I'm assuming there won't be. It looked like, to me, Rebeles was just a little bit off the pace that might have caused that. As these drivers hit the pit road entry, the leader, let's see if Chad Frankenfield, who is second, can take over the lead and get on and off pit road quicker. He's right on that back gearbox of Adriano Pinheiro. Looks like Jared Rexing in that Nesquik number 10 has elected to stay out. Risky business there. He should have about 20 to 22 more laps on his tires and fuel, but the rest of the field slowly coming down the pit road here. They will all hit their pit boxes for 4 tires and fuel. Frankenfield hits his box first. Adriano Pinheiro a few spots in front of him. Looks like the 28 was at fault. There has been a tally issued. I don't know if I quite agree with that. It looks like Marcus is very, very much off the pace. And we are off pit road, and it looks like Pinheiro will take everybody off pit road. They will lead them. He will come out second as Jared Rexing decides to stay out. Chad Frankenfield third. Alex Van de Sant fourth. Mark Murphy, the rookie, falls back to fifth. Eric Troiano, sixth, loses the spot. Nicholas Sudek gains 8 spots total. I think just 2 spots there on the pit road, so great stop there by Nicholas Sudek, a guy that we went on board a little bit earlier. He was running in the 10th position. So we approach lap number 50 of this 260-lap affair to finish out the season from the Gateway Motorsports Park. Let's take a look. Jared Rexing stays out. 46 laps. It'll be about 48 laps on those tires when we go back to green. Nero has fresh tires. Frankenfield, Van de Sant, and Murphy. David, I'm not sure the strategy there for Rexing. It wasn't like he was 14th or 15th to stay out to maybe gain some track position. He's been running in the top 8. This is a very risky strategy, but maybe it plays out for him.
Here he's asking in driver chat he still has time to pit, so he may have just still pit. So it may not be a strategy call, it just may be thought he missed his spot.
Well, at this point,
I'd stay.
If you almost just stay out. You've got the lead. Even if you fall back a few spots, maybe you get a quick yellow and you can come back down pit road. But at this point, I think you're just, even though you missed it, and that's very unfortunate, I just think at this point you stay out and just try to ride it out.
Yeah, take the track position and roll the dice, and maybe you get another caution in before you have to come under green.
So Rexing leads it. Pinheiro is second, and Frankenfield here under yellow is third. Rexing elects to stay out, and we will see here if the pace car lights do indeed come out. Want to take this time to thank a few more of our sponsors here. Blue Egg Marketing, the marketing department for small businesses. We're your marketing department. If you own a small business, Blue Egg is your biggest fan. In Straits catalyze creativity, we help businesses punch above their weight class. Again, thanks to Blue Egg Marketing for their support of the first part of the season here, David. As we know, July is going to be a little bit of time off, but then a lot of these drivers back at it coming up in August.
Yeah, it looks like we go back for IndyCar on August 12th at Michigan, our beginning of the 20 season. You
ever been to Michigan Speedway?
No, I have not. I've heard a lot of stories about it.
It is out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I always heard one road in, one road out.
One road in. I think they've adjusted. I haven't been there since 2009, maybe. But yeah, one road in, one road out. And no matter what, if you're up there for 3 days on the weekend, it's going to rain at some point. I remember sleeping in the back of my grandfather's truck in 2002. Tornado warnings. Didn't want to sleep in our tents. Slept in the truck. And it was all worth it. Thomas Schechter the next day in one of the greatest IndyCar races I've ever seen. The 2002 IndyCar race for Michigan. Schechter wins. What an absolute phenomenal race. But yeah, Michigan Speedway, always a great time. Always showed for some great IndyCar action, some great finishes. And I hope one day the NTT IndyCar Series can find themselves back at the Michigan International Speedway. 50 laps in here, Dave, as we get ready to go back green. We'll see if Chad Frankenfield has anything for Adriano Pinheiro. Van de Zandt currently third. He's your points leader. Mark Murphy, the rookie, is fourth. And Eric Troiano is fifth as Adriano Pinheiro brings them down for the green flag here. Taking that high side, checks them up a little bit. We're back to green flag racing after that first yellow flag on lap 51. A nice jump here, a nice restart for Pinheiro. Frankenfield just settling in. He's got a little bit of pressure from Alex Van de Zandt in third, who, as we know, is racing for a championship tonight. If he finishes 14th or higher, he will be your Mega Driver 86 IndyCar Series champion. Some battles throughout the back of the field. Here's to go down to about the 9th spot with Nicholas Sudik. He's been fast. We saw him charge his way before some bad luck last week. He's looking for a nice battle here between him and the rookie Gavin Hibbs, but it looks like Hibbs will hold him off as Sudik is now 7th. He is up 9 spots, looking to make some moves on what looks to be a very similar scheme to Roman Grosjean's DHL car, but a little bit of pressure there from Sudik. Gavin Hibbs has pulled away here on this restart.
Yeah, it kind of looks like if you took the back half of Roman's car and the front half of Ericsson's car and put them together, that's what you get.
Yeah. That is exactly what you get. Maybe even Marcos from his pole run a few years ago. If you remember back in the 2020 season, Marco Andretti qualifies on the pole. And when you look at IndyCar, Dave, over the last couple of years, I know you're a big fan. You follow it just as much as I do. You think about Cheers at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and Tony Kanaan's win in 2013 comes to mind. The biggest chant and crowd that I've ever heard was when Danica took the lead back in 2005 until last year, when even though you only had 135,000 fans in the stands, when Elio Castroneves won his 4th, that was the biggest cheering I've ever heard, probably in my entire life attending sporting events.
Yeah, it was definitely special. I mean, I don't go to the race. I've got anxiety issues that keep me from going to the race, but I always listen to it, and it really just brought a tear to my eye to have Helio get his 4th after all these years. And it was a great story, especially if you'd only have half the crowd there. It was great for the sport.
My anxiety issues surround not being able to attend the race. So you and I definitely
we balance out.
Opposite ends of the spectrum on that one. But yeah, I mean, Elio, one of those guys that continues to get it done. This year's 500 broke a lot of records, as we know, as far as attendance, TV ratings. Marcus Ericsson, your Indianapolis 500 champion. Just an absolute great run here. But again, shout out to Nicholas Sudik, who's currently running in the 7th position. He is up 9 spots on the day. And what we've learned here so far, as we've got about 200 laps to go here, Dave, Chad Frankenfield's got a very fast car. I think he is just finding himself in a rhythm, and he'll be ready to pounce when the opportunity comes, as we see, again, Nicholas Sudik here getting a little bit racy there towards the end of the tail end of the top 10.
Yeah, he's definitely the closest battle on track right now.
It's very tough. Yeah, very tough here. If you're Nicholas Sudik, you get used to racing around some of the same guys. You know, Eric Troiano, 2 cars in front of him. A little bit more difficult here when you make these runs and you kind of get yourself into a battle with a rookie and maybe a driver that you're not so familiar with where his lines are because you haven't been racing with him throughout the season.
Like Del Porto's coming up on the back of Walker too as well.
Victor Del Porto, a guy who knows how to make his way up towards the front of the field as well. let's go ahead and go on board here to Victor Del Porto as he looks to gain that 8th position. Battles continue throughout the field here from the Worldwide Technology Raceway as we've got just under 200 laps to go, 195 to be exact. It's been all Adriano Pinheiro in this one. He has led every lap. We've had one yellow flag so far. We saw a lot of the drivers, pretty much everybody pit under that yellow flag except for Jared Rexing. Rexing missed his pit. That kind of has cost him. He's lost 7 spots. He currently runs in the 13th position. Chad Frankenfield is second. Alex Van de Sandt, your points leader. He's got to finish 14th or better to wrap up the championship tonight. Mark Murphy, the rookie, he is holding his own in that 69 car. He is 4th. Eric Troiano is 5th. Gavin Hibbs, 6th. Nicholas Sudek, the highest moving driver so far of the evening. He's up 9 spots. He finds himself 7th. Yari Brubaker is 8th. Victor Del Porto is 9th. And Justin Fortner has moved up. He finds himself inside of the top 10 in the 10th position. Fortner currently up 1 spot from where he started. I'm Tony Donohue. David Huckleberry is with me. We are talking all things racing, including what's going on here from the Worldwide Technology Raceway Gateway just outside of St. Louis, Missouri, as we look at Eric Troiano here and the battle with rookie Gavin Hibbs. Gavin Hibbs so far, David, having himself a nice race in that DHL car. He's held off some possible passes by Nicholas Sudek. So far, so good here for the rookie, finding himself currently in the 6th position.
Yeah, unfortunately for people who like to watch passing, we haven't seen a whole lot of it, but everybody's kind of settled in and we're just ripping laps off. Yeah,
and this is just like Iowa last week. So important to just settle yourself in, find where your car is going to be. Your car is obviously different on the restart than what it will be later on in the race as fuel burns off and those tires burn off as well. So just kind of finding your rhythm, as we talked about on the outset of this one, a very technical racetrack and one that is super fun, super exciting to watch. Can't wait for IndyCar to go there at the end of, I believe, August, if I remember the schedule right. August, a very busy month. It's always July for the NTT IndyCar Series. July starts out in a few weeks with Mid-Ohio. Next thing you know, you're at the streets of Toronto, a doubleheader in Iowa. Then you go to Nashville, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Gateway. So if you're a racing fan, especially here in the Midwest or Central Indiana, you've got some awesome races coming up over the next couple of weeks. We've got some contact here throughout the field as we look at Eric
going over trying to come up through lap traffic, got into the back of Ben.
Yeah, very tough here. And if you're Benedetti, you got to know where the leaders are. And David, talk about these drivers can communicate with each other throughout the race.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything in driver chat. Usually they will say, you want me to go high or low, but sometimes with the IndyCar field, we do have an international group of people, so a lot of times they're not as comfortable with talking in the driver chat and don't always.
Yeah, we've got drivers from, David, you could attest to this. We've got drivers from all over the not only the country of the United States, but all over the world too. I know we've got a few guys down in Brazil, some other drivers throughout the field that are outside of the United States.
Yeah, especially in the IndyCar series, we have a really good pocket of Brazil drivers that'll pop in and out through the season. Pinheiro, of course. Did Victor Del Porto as well. We have a good international flavor,
which is always good as we have hit lap number 75 coming up here. We got some drivers out of this thing so far, David, and a few guys in the pits as well. Give us an update on some of those guys that are no longer in this race.
It looks like we got A.J. Musselman, of course, who didn't show. The Mark Rebelis, who got in an accident earlier, bringing out our first caution. He's tired. Joseph Gravalia, it looks like he is out as well. So everybody else there's a couple of cars, Benedetti and Schul are sitting in the pits. Looks like there's there and might be getting repaired back out, but officially they're not out yet.
So plenty of race to go as we are just over the 75 lap mark here from the Gateway Worldwide Technology Raceway. Again, this is just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. It is actually in the state of Illinois. And I don't know, Dave, if you've ever been to Gateway. I've been several times for IndyCar. It is a great weekend, especially if you can find yourself downtown, maybe at the Riverboat, or if you're lucky enough, you can catch a Cardinals game at home as well.
Yeah, for us, since I live west of Indianapolis, so I'm already on the way there. It's usually a one-day trip. It's a 3-hour drive, and you drive over, go to the race, and you drive home. Hardest part is usually getting out of the track.
Yeah. How far west from Indy are you?
74 miles. So we're just over here, just off the Illinois border.
Are we talking Paradise?
No, we're farther north, so it'd be 74 up in the Covington, Lafayette area. Near God's Country at Purdue.
I spent Memorial Day, the day after 500, on Purdue's campus. I'm shocked that there's a Target now in the middle of campus, which is
yeah,
good for kids. And I spent a lot of time in the Crawfordsville area, so not too far from Lafayette and that 74 intersection that you speak of.
Yep, that's our route down to the track in the month of May too. So usually a 13-minute trip to get to the interstate and then zip right into Speedway.
Nothing wrong with that. Pinheiro continues to lead with Chad Frankenfield second. Your points leader, Alex Van de Sandt, looking to wrap up the championship in the final race of the season. All he has to do is finish 14th or better to make sure that he wraps it up. Elsewhere, all he also would have to do, there's some other scenarios as long as he finishes in front of other drivers. But looks like Van de Sandt well on his way, barring anything crazy, to wrapping up the championship. Dave, how do you race this? Like, you want to win the race, but you also have to think to yourself, I don't want to go for broke and end up in the wall and lose that points championship.
I really think Van de Sandt's going to do exactly what we see him here. He'll take each of the green flag, if there's a green flag pit stop, to try to make his positions up. But other than that, I don't think he's going to try to go for positions on track. It's just too risky. And then he'll just take whatever comes to him at the last. I don't think he's going to put himself in any danger of not winning.
And 80 laps into this one so far, we really haven't seen a lot of passes throughout the field. We've seen some drivers be able to get runs, but completing that pass has been difficult here so far through the first 80 or so laps. So we'll be interesting to see if we see some movement throughout the field here later in the race.
Now, this all could change quickly since we do only have 16 cars out on the track running. If we get a few more cars drop out, then, of course, Van de Sandt will lock automatically with not being able to finish below that, and then it's all on. Then he can do whatever he wants. And
we will hopefully get a word with him at the end of the conclusion of tonight's race if Van de Sandt does indeed wrap up the championship. Let's talk about the rookie Mark Murphy. Started from the second position. He is down 2 spots, but holding his own here in the 4th position. We've seen him have a few battles early, but he's been able to hold it off, and he currently is holding his own in the 4th spot.
Really nice livery too. That chicken pit livery. It has kind of a red chrome to it, kind of like Robert Wicken's car when he was with Lucas. It has that red chromish to it. Some of these guys do a great job of their paint jobs.
And what goes into that? I know a lot of these drivers have their own sponsors. A lot of these drivers are very creative with how their car looks. You know, you go back to like Nicholas Sudek, who has a great pink and blue, I call it the bubblegum special car, who's running 7th. There it is. You can see it right there. One of my favorites. I love the pink on the rims as well there. We saw Jimmy Johnson do that, I think, in the month of May with some colorful rims. But yeah, Dave, talk real quick, if you don't mind, just kind of what goes into this. And I know a lot of sponsorship has a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah, a lot of this takes place outside of iRacing. There's pretty much everybody uses a application called Trading Paints, and they're able to break these templates down for the cars and customize just pretty much whatever your imagination can come up with. You have a template there, and each piece of the car has its own little graphics area, and you customize it, and then you load it up on there. And then we use a common place where we pull those down so we can show them to you in the broadcast. But it's really kind of built up a cottage industry, kind of a lot of these younger guys that are starting in the racing are getting into the car design as well. Cool to watch and see what they can create.
David, you follow this throughout the season so far. I'll go Nicholas Sudek, although I do like Jared Rexing's Nesquik scheme, and I'm also was a big fan, as mentioned, of Chad Frankenfield's Bill Vukovich throwback to the early 50s. Off the top of your head, if you can remember, give me some of your favorite schemes that we've seen here throughout the Elite Racing League season so far.
Put me on the spot. There was somebody ran a Domino's theme, kind of like I think it was like Ari ran the Domino's scheme for a while. Somebody ran that in one of the races, and it was really sharp. The bright red and bright blue with the Domino's logo on it. What's nice about Jared Rexing is this is his scheme on everything he runs, pretty much. So in the truck series and the NASCAR, the 2 NASCAR series, he's running a Nesquik car. So he has that brand continuity. Kind of neat.
And to that point, I always know where he is because of that. But in the early 2000s, when I was a kid, watching that Nesquik Xfinity Series car run was always a favorite of mine. And I had a T-shirt and I had the diecast to go along with it as well. So I do like seeing that. Like I said, Chad Frankenfield, I think he ran it for the Indy and maybe the Indy Grand Prix as well. He had that throwback to a great car, which was the one driven back-to-back Indianapolis 500s by Bill Vukovich in the early 1950s. He drove that to 2 Indianapolis 500 victories. So I like to see the different schemes that these drivers do throughout the entire series and the season as well. So we've reached lap number 90. We are 8 laps away from the 100 lap mark as we look here at Chris Wright, who is joining us on. He is 14th. That's exactly where he started. Very similar to the scheme that we saw Roman Grosjean run last week from up in Road America at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Dave, I don't know if you've ever been to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, middle of nowhere. It's almost like you're walking around a state park, except there's 4 miles of asphalt laid out. Some awesome sight lines. You can get right up close to the action, and an NTT Indycar comes screaming by at 180 miles an hour. It's always something fun to watch.
It's still on my bucket list. Hey, we can go on board with Chris if you want. I think we can pull him up and talk to him.
Let's go on board and see if he can join us here. Chris, let us know if you got us.
Yeah, I got you guys. How's it going?
Good, man. Settling into a rhythm here. I know it's a long race. You're approaching lap number 100. What are you learning about your car here as we get into a longer green flag run?
I am learning that the car is way better than the driver right now. I'm getting better as we go. It just taking off there that first run. I was I'm a stock car guy, that's for sure.
Very technical racetrack is the Gateway Motorsports Park. Turns 1 and turns 2, extremely difficult. 3 and 4, definitely different. A lot of braking. What are your thoughts on taking to this race course here tonight?
Well, in a stock car, it's really slow. It's kind of like a short track. Over here in this Indycar, it's all about the traffic. Running by yourself isn't too terribly difficult, but you catch a guy, like I drove up on Alec here, and you just stuck. You can't really go anywhere.
And how difficult is it? I know you got to stay patient. There's still plenty of laps to go, but it has been hard to pass here through this first 100 or so laps.
Yeah, passing's difficult, and me being new to the car, this is my first start in the car, so I had to learn a lot of things. You know, I got to give a shout out to Madison, Chad Brakenfield. Those guys really helped me out, you know, in practice when I came in here with what does what to do. So none of this happens without them, you know, helping me out, or else I'd really been out to lunch there. I got a break with that yellow coming out, and we were about to get lapped, and obviously, as it shows, we're coming here on pit stops, so we've got more pace this second run. It's just really, really difficult to pass.
Yeah, we did see those first round of pit stops under yellow, coming up on a round of green flag stops, and we'll let you go here. But just a strategy here, just hit your marks, get tires, and get back out there. Or are you maybe looking for a yellow here to be able to come back down pit road?
Where I'm sitting, you know, I'd like for it to go green, maybe a yellow if we're going to get lapped again, obviously, but just every lap into green, I'm learning something new, learning something different. It's a way different animal. Anybody out here watching right now who's running in the Elite Cup stuff, or it's going to be any kind of stock car stuff, this is a totally different animal, and I invite all of them guys to try to give it a shot. And
we got a caution
here, boy.
Yep, yellow. We appreciate your time here, Chris. We'll try to check in throughout the night. As Chris Wright is up now 5 spots, he finds himself in the 9th position as we've reached lap number 100. And just right there, Dave, on cue, we were talking about maybe a yellow here to bring these guys in for the second round of pit stops. And we'll take a look back here on the Whiskey Cask replay to see what brought it out. And it's Gavin Hibbs, it looks like, all by himself into turns 3 and 4. And it just kind of steps out on him. And as we get later in this run, those tires have fallen off. The fuel has burned off. Your car is a lot lighter. And it just seems the back end stepped out on him and swung him into the wall there.
Yeah, and I think who that's going to impact is Chad Frankenfield that just came down pit lane. He's going to lose. He's going to be back all the way in 12th position, lose all his track position.
So we'll see if he cycles back through here as the rest of the field will come in for their round of pit stops. So that could cycle Chad back to the lead, which would hop him over Adriano Pinheiro, who has led all the laps so far. We will see as the rest of the field makes their way down the pit road here for the second go-round of pit stops. Looks like Nick Sudek a little bit off here in the grass as they come down pit road.
Yeah, it looks like we had an issue on pit lane.
Troiano goes on by, but Nick Sudek in the grass, they're going to lose some valuable time and valuable positions here on pit road. Although Sudek showing in the 13th spot, or excuse me, in third, up 13 spots. Did he maybe stay out after that? I don't know if we can see. I can't see it right here. Hold on. Lap since last pit.
Yeah, they just came in, so everybody's been in.
Did he maybe do a drive-through? I wonder if he maybe did a drive-through. We'll have to take a look at that because going to be very difficult to go from where he was, I believe, in the 9th position all the way up to 2nd.
Yeah, let me see what I can find. So here's him coming out of the pit lane.
Seems to maybe pick up a little speed there. Some debris. I don't think that had anything to do with it. And back out he goes. So We'll see with Nicholas Sudik when we go back to green flag racing here, where that puts him and where he'll end up lining up.
There he goes by Van de Zandt. Must be telling him that second spot. He settles in there behind Pinheiro, which would put him in second. Yeah, I think that stack up on pit lane really kind of messed everything up, and had some cars that went in down the lane and didn't. So got kind of a group that went 98, 97, lap 98, 97, and we have the rest of them that went at 100. The 100 ones have now shot to the top. I think those are the ones that pitted under yellow, while the rest of them pitted under green.
We'll get ready for the second restart, the third restart, including the start of this race. But the second restart is we are under our second yellow flag here on lap number 103 of 260. We're just 27 laps away from the halfway point in this contest. From the Gateway Speedway, the Worldwide Technology Speedway, the Worldwide Technology 500, we want to thank Powerhouse Recycling. Powerhouse Recycling strives to offer the highest level of customer service in the industry for each load processed time and time again. Attainable account representatives, prompt and on-time pickups, customized recycling solutions keeps Powerhouse Recycling as a North Carolina market leader in customer service. They believe in quality customer service before, during, and after the process of a client's materials. They strongly believe through our superior customer service, customized recycling, and complete transparency that we can earn our clients' business and hold longevity in our business relationships. Again, Powerhouse Recycling. David, if you don't mind, before we go back to green flag racing here, let's take a look back at what those scenarios are for Alex Van de Zandt to wrap up the championship here tonight.
Yeah, and I think actually I'm getting information that those may be changing right now. Van de Zandt may have made contact with somebody under the caution. Contact under the caution is a 10-point penalty. So that may throw everything out. What we did have was that Van de Zandt, as long as he finished 14th or better, would lock in. Del Porto would have to win, and Van de Zandt 14th or lower. And then Pinheiro would have to win and need to be 17th or lower, which I'd option. So I think we have Pinheiro is now eliminated. But then you also have those 10 points, so it's going to take Van de Zandt down to 349. Have to recalculate them. I'll work on that and see if I can get back to you.
As the scenarios continue to change here, again, so we could be talking about a 10-point penalty here as we get ready to go back to racing. Green flag back in the air. And we are back to racing at Gateway with Adriano Pinheiro, your leader. Nicholas Sudik is currently second. Jari Brubaker has moved up. He is currently in the third position. As we update the points here, as things continue to change here, just after lap number 100, as we gain ever closer to the middle of this race and the halfway point from the Worldwide Technology Raceway, the Worldwide Technology 500 here on the Mega Driver 86 Elite Racing League Indycar Series. We've had some great races throughout the season. We'll get with David here shortly. He can do a quick rundown of some of the racing that we've seen throughout this year, some of the big winners of the races. We'll have a little bit of a hiatus over the month of July, and we'll come back and start back up in August from the Michigan International Speedway, a track that I know that all of us still wish IndyCar would go to. Don't forget Burnout Sports, burnoutsports.com. My Twitter handle at TonyDindy. We've got you updated on all things IndyCar with opinion. We have a lot of cool videos. I had an awesome interview this week with Christian Rasmussen, who broke into Victory Circle for Andretti Autosport, his first career win in Indy Lights. It was an all Andretti Indy Lights podium from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. The second time this year that Lights has started the race had to go to a red flag and came back and finished after the IndyCar race had happened for the first time during the road course race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway due to rain and thunderstorms. They came back out, ran it in the rain. Linus Lundqvist was the winner of that race. And then on Sunday, around lap 10, Christian Bogle hits the curb, flies into the fence, knocks down the fence. Thankfully, he was okay, but then comes back, and they said, okay, well, if we're going to get this window and we're going to get this time slot for IndyCar, we have to call this right now a red flag, and we will come back and run this thing at the end of the conclusion of the IndyCar race. Christian Bogle passes his teammate Stingray Robb and picks up his first career race. So yes, as talked about, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin is somewhere that you need to check out. It's one of the best places to watch road course racing in all of sports.
Okay, so I think I have this clarified now. I have a 10-point penalty. Alexander Van de Zandt, contact under caution.
Yep.
So that revision would make it 10th now. 10th or better. And then 13th would be Arrow wins. As long as he's 13th or better, he'll still be fine. If Del Porto wins, he has to finish 10th or better. And if he finishes 10th or better, he automatically.
So still plenty of time for things to get moved and some movement throughout the field. But again, we do know that he has to finish 10th or better to wrap it up here in the championship for the season here on the Elite Racing Network, the Mega Driver 86. As we are 113 laps of 260. Looks like we've got some battles throughout the field. Let's go ahead and ride along here with, I believe, if I'm looking at it correctly here, let's go on board with Justin Fortner here, as there is a battle for, I believe, if I can zoom in here. Sorry, Justin Fortner battling for the fourth spot. All right, back here edge closer to the halfway point here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. 121 of 260 are complete. It has been all Adriano Pinheiro. He currently sits out front by a 1 second margin over Nicholas Sudek, who's been the biggest mover of the race so far. He is second. Justin Fortner is third. Jari Brubaker is fourth. Alex Van de Sant fifth. The rookie and guy we talked a little bit earlier, Hunter Smith, who really benefited from that yellow flag, is up to sixth. Chad Frankenfield, who had already pitted when that yellow flag came out, finds himself back at seventh. Troiano is eighth. Mark Murphy ninth. And Victor Del Porto is 10th. Dave Huckleberry and Tony Donohue here with you from the Gateway International Raceway, Worldwide Technology Motorsports, the 500, the final race of this season here on the schedule. We'll take some time off, then we will bring IndyCar back coming up in Michigan in August. Looking forward to that. If you're just joining us as we reach the halfway point, we've had 2 yellow flags. It's been all Adriano Pinheiro throughout this one. He's led every lap. Nicholas Sudek up to second. And let's go to Dave here real quick again as we watch a battle as Chad Frankenfield tries to make his way up to the field. We have had a little bit of some controversy here as we talk about what's coming up here with the Points Championship and Alex Van de Sant wrapping up the championship tonight.
Yeah, Alex Van de Sant, who really only had to finish 14th or better, but he's had a 10-point penalty for contact under the caution. Under that last caution, he made contact on pit lane. So he's been given a 10-point penalty. That shakes things up a little bit. He controls pretty much his own destiny and finish 10th or better. He will be the champion. For the other scenarios, for the other two, Victor Del Porto, who's currently down in 10th, if he were to win, then Van de Sant would need to finish low 10th place for Del Porto to be the champion. And then last would be Adriano Pinheiro. If he were to win, which he's currently in first place, then it would have to be Van de Sant finishing below 13th for him to be champion. And there might be a little wiggle room in there. There's also 3 bonus points that are up for grabs, depending on if they've led a lap, and if they led the most laps, and if they won the pole. Pinheiro got the pole point, I know. He's led a lap, so he's got that point. And he's probably at this point getting close to solidifying the leading the most laps. So he may have those 3 bonus points in his pocket.
Yeah, I think the only lap that he didn't lead, if not mistaken, Jared Rexing stayed out under that first yellow and it inherited the lead briefly, leading a lap. So I think if we get to a lap 134 and Pinheiro is still in the lead, he will have wrapped up that 3rd bonus point for leading the most laps here from Worldwide Technology. Look, it's always going to be Gateway to me. I know that
I'm the same way.
You love having a title sponsor, and you love companies that are interested in sponsoring racing. But as we get a little dicey here, Chad Frankenfield battling as we head down the front straightaway down into turn 1. Jari Brubaker is right there. Alex Van de Sant on the high side. And if you're Van de Sant here, as you
doesn't want to see that.
You're going, hey, let's settle down, boys. We still got 130 laps to go.
That is not what you want to see in your rearview mirror coming at you.
And let's go on board here for a few laps, if you don't mind, with Jari Brubaker, who is right there behind Chad Frankenfield and Alex Van de Sant. Let's go back.
I think Van de Sant got spun.
And we have a spin, and it's Alex Van de Sant. What we were just discussing, he didn't want to see trying to win this championship. Let's go to the Whiskey Cask replay. Out front, he's got Chad Frankenfield looking to the inside here.
He just gets tagged.
Frankenfield that is Chad Frankenfield, correct?
Yep. Chad's taking full responsibility.
He just punts him, and that ends the day for Alex Van de Sant. It looks like Oh my goodness, Dave. We
Oh.
have a shakeup in the points championship as Van de Sandt was looking to wrap up the title with a 10th place finish or better.
Well, if you're Van de Zandt, you're definitely going to try to drive this back, or if he tows it, he's still going to probably sit and try to take the repairs. He's going to sit at 15th. So if he can get back out, he can still make a run if we get more cars out. But now it's a big uphill battle now.
It is, as he continues to drive that car around. I believe this took place in turns 3 and 4, or 1 and 2. Looks like it was 1 and 2. So he will have to drive this thing all the way back around a beaten and damaged race car. What tough luck here for Van de Sandt. And yes, a tally issued to the number 15 of Chad Frankenfield, as he just looked like he got a run there and runs into the back of Van de Sandt. We'll take a look one more time here as we go on board with Jari Brubaker as pit stops are happening here. The third pit stop of the night for these drivers as we are under yellow just past the halfway point.
Yeah, Chad said he just misjudged his braking point coming into that and just tags him in the rear. That will not make you popular in the paddock if you do that in real life. So now that plays out, looks like Victor Del Porto has now chosen not to pit. That give him the track position, get him up to where he needs to be since he's back in the ball game for being able to win this series. Del Porto is going to be first and Pinero's second.
And if you're Del Porto, you're going, all right, let's get that extra point, right? Let's get that extra point. You need that, and let's see what happens. Sometimes cautions breed cautions in these things, and we saw that certainly last week at Iowa, which is a smaller track, more of a bull ring. But we'll see if this strategy ends up playing out for him, and is this the move to pounce and take over that championship lead?
Does sound like Van de Zandt is taking it all in stride. He's not angry in the driver chat.
This pushes him all the way back to, if I'm not mistaken, to the 15th position, which is, he can still win the championship from there depending on what other drivers do, but a 10th place finish wraps it up for him for sure, regardless of what everybody else does. So now he's going to need a little bit of luck, not only getting this car prepared and back on the track, but maybe some other attrition ahead of him to move up a few spots.
Yeah, the information we don't know is how much repair time he has and how many laps are going to fly before he.
As we continue under yellow here, just past the halfway point. And a guy to watch out for here, he kind of got the benefit of that last yellow moving up. Nicholas Sudik currently in the third spot.
Ed Frankenfield's dropped to the back of back car. 12th right now. That's a self-imposed penalty at Avio.
We get set here to go back to green flag racing. We do have two rookies in the top 10 with Sudik third and Mark Murphy running in the 8th position. So those guys holding their own.
Like Chris Wright's going to be restarting with Chad right behind him. That'll open his eyes pretty quickly here.
As the pace car is off, as these drivers will get up to speed. Victor Del Porto now inheriting the lead with Adriano Pinheiro second, Nicholas Sudik third, Justin Fortner fourth, and Yari Brubaker will be fifth. Troiano Smith-Murphy, Rexing, and Alec Balvans, who we haven't really talked about too much tonight, finds himself now into the top 10. A slow restart here as Pinheiro all over the back of Victor Del Porto. We've seen these two drivers battle a lot this season. Green flag back in the air, lap number 137. And it's Victor Del Porto with the jump. He has the lead over Pinheiro and Sudik heading down into turn number 1. Battle towards the middle of the top 10 there with Justin Fortner in fourth. Him and Yari Brubaker going back and forth. Sudik currently in third. And we see Yari taking that high line around as Eric Troiano goes to the inside. He'll grab that spot as they go side by side down the front straightaway.
Definitely what Van de Zandt would want to see sitting from the pit lane. He wants to see more cars getting closer to each other and put a couple more cars in harm's way.
So Van de Zandt is currently 15th. He is still on pit lane. So there is a 34-lap gap back to Gavin Hibbs. Is Gavin Hibbs still in the pit lane? It looks like he has completed 97 laps. It looks like he is still on pit road, if not mistaken, is Gavin Hibbs.
Right. Everybody below Van de Zandt is out.
Okay. So
sitting on pit lane, 6 laps down.
He's 6 laps down in the 15th position. Dave, if you have the updated scenarios on the championship, go ahead and run through it as we see Van de Zandt currently 15th, but we see Adriano Pinheiro in second right now.
Yeah, as we run right now, Van de Zandt is outside of his window to be a title. Unless if Victor Del Porto or Adriano were to win. If Del Porto would win the race where Van de Zandt's sitting right now, he would be champion. Adriano Pinheiro would be finishing second. Because they are close enough together. They were separated by, I think, 4 points. They were separated by 2 points. Pinheiro was behind Del Porto by 2. So Pinheiro, has got probably 3 bonus points in his pocket now, too, that brings him almost even. So this could get really interesting. First place, I don't know, it'll be far enough. First place pays 50 points. It's a double point race, so it's 100 points. Second place will pay 40, which is 80. There is a pretty good gap between them. Both of those guys pretty much have to win.
Still plenty of time to go here as we approach lap number 145. So about 115 laps to go. And as we've seen so far here, David, especially tonight, how quickly things can change.
Yeah, and looking at Van de Zandt, 10 laps down now. Pretty much at this point going to just have to bank on his best chance is going to be people falling out ahead of him. He can catch back up. Not going to make up 10 laps. Green flag.
And if you don't mind, let's go ahead and go on board here with... let's go ahead and go on board here with Nicholas Sudik, let's go on board with Justin Fortner, who is currently in the 4th position and gaining here, it looks like, on Sudik. All right, we are back from the Worldwide Technology Raceway. 110 laps to go in the season finale of the Mega Driver 86 IndyCar Series here on the Elite Racing Network. We have had a shakeup in the points, as currently on pit road and in the 15th position is Alex Van Sandt. He was top 3 throughout most of this race, doing exactly what he needed to do to wrap up the points championship. Chad Frankenfield gets into the back of him. Frankenfield owned the move. It was a mistake. Puts him into the wall. Frankenfield currently has moved himself to the back of the field, but has marched back up to the 7th spot. Victor Del Porto has inherited the lead with Adriano Pinheiro 2nd, Nicholas Sudik 3rd, Justin Fortner 4th, and Eric Troiano in the 5th position. But Dave Huckleberry, who joins me, Tony Donohue here on the broadcast, a terrible break for Alex Van Sandt. He's going to need a lot of luck here over this final 100 or so laps to be able to clinch the championship.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't have felt as bad if it wasn't for the 2 guys running 1 and 2. If he got a little help from somebody else, he'd still be okay and still be able to win this championship.
And you're sitting there going, you don't want to wish any ill will on anybody, but also you're going, man, if something can happen up front or some other drivers could get knocked out, we might have a chance to win this thing. So tough break, just absolute heartbreaking on such a great season that he's had so far, and was doing everything in his power tonight to continue that.
You might even, if you were in the real world, you might have your spotter walk over to Chad's spotter and say, okay, bud, you owe us. So Chad's still out there on the lead lap. He's up to 7th place. If he can go win it, that might make it up in.
We'll see here over the final 100 or so laps. 153 of 260 are complete from the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Got a few weeks off here for the NTT IndyCar Series, and a few weeks off here, it looks like, for our series. We'll come back in August with a few races starting at the Michigan International Raceway. Dave, let's talk. I know that you follow IndyCar and you're a big IndyCar fan. What are some of the biggest moments you've seen so far throughout the 2022 season?
Well, I saw a great race at Barber. That was a good time there, and then great show, great weather. Probably in the racing itself, Marcus Ericsson's win was really, really stellar. I thought he flew under the radar for me all month long. And I knew it was going to be a Ganassi car. He probably would have been the fourth of the Ganassi cars that I would pick with a chance. So that would be really good. And then for the Penske's, that finish at Texas was awesome. As being a Penske fan, you couldn't go wrong as long as they didn't take each other out. So I love Newgarden, and I love Scott McLaughlin, the way they get together. Del Porto went to the pits.
And Del Porto dives in. Yeah, I think he stayed out a little bit earlier than a few of the other drivers there during that last yellow. To go back to Joseph Newgarden, what comes to mind for me is, and I'll toot my own horn, I predicted him to be the driver that wins the $1 million bonus. He wrapped it up at Road America. He's won on the street course at Long Beach. He won on an oval at Texas. Now he has that road course win. If you look at it realistically here, Dave, he could do that again. I'm convinced he's going to win at Iowa, at least one of those 2 races. He's going to be hungry to win in his home state in Nashville. And he can certainly get one done at the Indianapolis road course, at Laguna Seca, or Portland. So I think he could possibly get 3 more wins. And I don't think they're going to give him another $1 million, but he could do that twice.
Yeah, I did see people asking that. Does it reset? Can we do this again?
Because he's certainly a contender for that. But Marcus Ericsson with double points at the Indianapolis 500. He is your points leader as we've reached the halfway mark of the NTT IndyCar Series season. We have reached the finale here of our series with just 100 laps to go in the Mega Driver 86 IndyCar Series. And out front right now is Adriano Pinheiro. But let's talk about Nicholas Sudik, a guy that's been very patient. We know that he's fast. He has one of my favorite liveries, and he currently finds himself in the 2nd position.
Yeah, and he's probably got a fan sitting there cheering for him to go get him. Able to carve a little bit into the Pinheiro. Now Pinheiro, of course, can't run behind Del Porto anymore. So got to push. Fortner's coming up pretty hard on the back of Sudik, though.
And what we talked about with, these cars and the way that they run, and we talked with a rookie in Chris Wright earlier, was the fact that, it's hard to pass here, and it's hard to get up behind that driver, and sometimes you have a lot of momentum, and as we saw in Chad Frankenfield's case, you have a little bit too much momentum and end up taking out the guy in front of you. So a very difficult place to pass here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Hey, kind of to go back to one of the other things I've really kind of loved about this season, the fact that we have a different pole winner in every race. I never would have thought there would be a year where you'd have 7 different pole winners, 7 different races. Parity and talent level in IndyCar is just
Yeah, absolutely, and not in this series, and as well as in the actual NTT IndyCar series, we see it week in and week out. It's unpredictable. It's so hard to know who's going to win that next race. It's difficult to predict who's going to be on the pole, and really what we've seen in both this series and that series is the fact that, yeah, it is important to qualify up front, but you don't necessarily have to do that to find yourself with a chance to win at the end of the race. That's why these long races tend to bring the cream of the crop towards the top.
Chad Frankenfield's got his way back to 5th place already.
So Chad, who we think penalized himself, if not mistaken, finds himself now back into the top 5 with just 95 laps to go. Pinheiro leads. Now, he started, I believe, on the pole position. Nicholas Sudik is up 14 spots. He is second. Justin Fortner is up 8 spots. He is third. Eric Troiano up 4 spots. Up 1 spot. He is fourth. And Frankenfield is your top 5. Also, a lot of drivers just finding their rhythm here, finding their way. We have seen some accidents. I believe we had 3 cautions here. If you're Nicholas Sudik, you have a fast car. You're a guy that can get it done and hang around towards the end. I like this pace as Sudik is running, and he hasn't really shown his stuff too much. Yes, he's moved up a bunch of spots, but he hasn't quite shown what he has the leader here as he just rides in second and finds himself in a good rhythm.
Van Zandt still sitting in pit lane getting repaired. We don't know how much time he has or if he's going to stay there through the race. So right now, he still could come back out.
Is there a way that we can maybe check in with him? Would he be willing to do that? We'll have to ask.
Yeah, I can try to get what I can do.
Let's see if we can't get word to him and see if we can have a little bit of a discussion here as we've got about 90 laps to go. Okay. Well, we certainly understand a frustrating night trying to make the most of it here over the next 190 or so laps. So very, very difficult circumstances for him as Sudik continues to run second. Pinheiro is your leader with Justin Fortner, Eric Troiano, and Chad Frankenfield rounding out your top 5. I don't think there's a lot of battles going on throughout the lead. Let's go on board here with Adriano Pinheiro, and we'll see how close he is to maybe finding some lap traffic, as it looks like he's got plenty of space in front of him. 175, 260 complete here in the season finale of the Mega Driver 86 IndyCar Series. I'm Tony Donohue. Dave Huckleberry is with me, as well as the winding laps come down here. We have seen some sparks and some shakeups in the point standings. Alex Van de Sandt officially out. He will finish in the 15th position. Dave, what does this do for our championship scenarios?
Well, based on my fast math, that should put him about 90 points ahead of Victor Del Porto in the points at the end. So Victor would need to make up 90 points. Of course, with this being a double point race, the only way to do that would be to finish first. Because if he finished second, that's going to be 40 points doubled. That'll be 80. He'll still be short. So Del Porto and Pinheiro both have to win to still be able to get it. So Van de Sandt still has a chance, but only if neither of those win.
So still has a chance, but yeah, very, very tough here. And we'll see what happens over the final 80 or so laps. And just difficult, right? Like you're kind of minding your own business. You're doing what you got to do, and then things go south. So unfortunately, we weren't able to check in with him. And all you can do now, Dave, is just sit back and wait and see what else happens with the drivers that are still out there.
Yeah, and currently Del Porto's wrapped a lap down. He had to pit off sequence with everybody else. He'll get that back if we have green flag stops with everybody else. So back in third.
All right, we'll see if we can get with Alex Van de Sandt on kind of the wait-and-see approach here over the final 80 laps or so here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Your leader continues to be Adriano Pinheiro. Nicholas Sudek is second. Justin Fortner is third. Eric Traiano fourth. And Chad Frankenfield currently in the top 5 in the 5th position.
Well, I put the request out there, but I haven't heard.
Well, we'll see if he's maybe available to join us again. If not, we totally understand, and we'll see how these points play out here over the next several laps here from Gateway and Worldwide Technology Raceway. Good race so far for Adriano Pinheiro. He's been out front throughout most of it. The best car, and it's going to be tough here to beat him, that's for sure.
Nicholas Sudek's into the pits.
So Sudek in second dives into the pits, gives up that second position. Frankenfield looks like comes in behind him, as well as Jared Rexing for the third round of pit stops here on the night. As he rolls off pit road, we still look for the leader here in Adriano Pinheiro. He stays out one more lap, so stretching out this fuel mileage here as we get towards the nitty-gritty of this final race of the 2022 spring season.
Batch coming. Troiano, Mark Murphy, and Cabral. He's Pinheiro, Brubacher, and Chris Wright are the last.
And Pinheiro will now elect to come down pit road. We will see where it cycles him out. He had about a 2.5-second lead before he comes into pit road here. And this is the first cycle of green flag stops on the evening. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly goes on. We have a yellow.
Caution.
We have yellow. Yellow on the race course.
Hi. And Chris Wright's in the lead. His first race, and he gets to lead a lap.
Leader. So we will see how this kind of shakes things up. As the leader was on pit road, we'll go to the Whiskey Cask replay.
Fortner down low.
Fortner is low. Sudik is up high, and Fortner just loses it. The back end steps out, does a great job of saving it, keeping it off the wall, and keeping it out of harm's way. But dang.
Definitely be a self-spin tally.
So a yellow flag here just past pit stops for the leaders. Chris Wright is your leader with Troiano second, Pinheiro third, Brubaker fourth, and Victor Del Porto currently fifth. And he looks like the leader, Chris Wright, will have to come down pit road here under the yellow flag.
And he is the only one eligible to come down right now.
So he makes his way down pit road here.
12 was at fault. Tally issue. I'll spin. Now it looks like we're going to have Troiano at the lead.
So Troiano takes the lead. He came in about a lap earlier, I do believe.
That is correct.
We'll have a restart here with about 70 laps to go. And again, the shakeups continue. Now, I don't believe that spin is going to knock Fortner out of the race. So Van de Sandt will currently sit in 15th. He completed 131 laps. So I don't believe he'll be able to gain any more positions, even if there are some wrecks in front of him. But they could, depending on if anybody does get knocked out, it could certainly continue to shake up the points here in the last race of the season.
Yeah, we're getting really close to that, I think. 70 laps left. That would be... Got about another 11 laps where you would need people to go out to be able to possibly... No, they're still above him. Needed more than they... He is still sitting in the pit lane. You from pit lane?
Certainly not where he wants to be, as we know here in the final laps of this race. Good run here for Chris Wright, the rookie. We talked to him earlier in the race just about getting adapted to this car, adapted to a different track. He said that the car is a lot better than the driver. But right now, he's finding his way up 10 spots, currently in the fourth position. Yes, he was the leader, but he did have the pit here on this last cycle. So, so far, so good. A nice little run here for Chris Wright, finds himself in the fourth position. And then Eric Troiano moving up. He has the lead. We'll see if he can hold on to it, with Adriano Pinheiro in second coming up on this next restart.
As is always the case, whenever you have a caution that comes out during a pit cycle, sometimes iRacing can take a few laps to get everything set up, and it doesn't quite jive with what you see in your eye test, but it all depends on where you were on the track and where the cones were, how it picks you up as leader or a lead lap down.
Dave, talk about some of those, I don't know what to call them exactly, maybe idiosyncrasies of, just sometimes in iRacing and sometimes when you have technology, it doesn't always go the way that it should.
Yeah, and definitely in iRacing, everything's data-based, so it's hard and fast. So you don't have a lot of the human aspects of being able to make decisions of somewhere the pace car should pick it up, but sometimes it'll just pick up the lead car as a weird point and it traps you a lap down, and there's not much you can do about it. Simulation is dictated by the data.
So Troiano will bring the field down here on the restart. He's leading his first laps of the night with Pinheiro currently second. Jan Brubaker is in the third position. If I'm not mistaken, Dave, on this restart, Troiano will have a two-car gap back to Adriano Pinheiro, so we'll see how patient Pinheiro stays to pick off those two lap cars in front of him.
Yeah, you think he's not in a hurry to get by him, but you think he's going to get back to the lead quick as possible, stay out front of everything that might happen between you.
Looks like Brubaker had a really good start too. Looked to the outside there for a minute, thought twice of it as we go down into turn 2 down the back straightaway, as it looks like Nate Sudik is going to make some moves as well. Pinheiro goes to the inside here to get around one of those lap cars. We are 2 to 3 wide back here with Rexing on the outside, Sudik on the inside. Some other cars right in there include Chris Wright, Victor Del Porto. We're 3 wide down the front straightaway.
Oh,
down
hold tight, Chris.
Jared Rexing in the middle, Chris Wright on the outside. They make it stick. Chad Frankenfield sticks a nose in there as well. They're all bobbled up coming off turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Frankenfield will look to make it 3 wide going down into turn number 3. He will. They are 3 wide. Everybody holding their own down the front straightaway now off corner number 4. And the field continues to fan out. Chad Frankenfield in the middle holding on there. You got the rookie Hunter Smith on the outside. Rexing has the spot as we get down to single file racing here now. And wow, Hunter Smith right there. Everybody holding their own there. Kudos to everybody for getting through that wild lap or two.
Yeah, definitely. If I talk to Chris after the race, he'll remember lap 194, definitely.
We are battling throughout the field here. Your leader continues to be Eric Troiano with Pinheiro second, Brubaker third, Sudik fourth, and Jared Rexing your top 5 as Sudik looks for another spot here. He will go for the third position, a spot on the podium. He will take it. So move Nicholas Sudik back up into the podium position. He is currently third.
Had Frankenfield back up in the top 5.
And that's a good run for him, even though he had the little bit of a controversy a little bit earlier, getting into the back of another car. Not just another car, however, the points leader. But he penalized himself, and now he has battled himself back into the top 5 as we approach lap number 200 as Rexing and Sudik go side by side into turn number 1 and 2. A battle there for the third position. And now Frankenfield all over the back of that Nesquik number 10 of Nate Sudik. And it looks to the inside as he goes into turn number 3. He will take the spot. Let's see if he can make it stick. Rexing battling back on the outside, but Chad Frankenfield looks like he will make the move. But then here comes Sudik back on the outside down the front straightaway. They'll battle it out into turn number 1.
Chad did a nice job not washing up into Rexing on the last turn where he tried to get under him. Right out of it. Battle back here between Chris Wright, Justin Fortner, and Victor Del Porto. Del Porto needs to get back to the front if he wants. Got himself back on the lead lap now. He just back up front.
Certainly still plenty of time for things to shake up throughout the field.
Max out there didn't want to go 3 wide.
And a little bit different here. I mean, you're battling with a rookie that you really haven't raced against. You really don't know much about. And so far, the guy that we talked to earlier, Chris Wright, who finds himself 9th, has really done a good job of holding his own and in being really competitive here this evening.
Yeah, pretty impressive run for Chris. I know he wasn't sure what to expect. So Frankenfield just gets by Rexing. Rexing going to cross him over and try to get back underneath.
Yeah, so great battle here between Rexing and Chad Frankenfield as Eric Troiano continues to lead by about 3.8 seconds. Back to Adriano Pinheiro, back to Nicholas Sudik, Chad Frankenfield, and Jared Rexing, your top 5. Let's go on board here with Jared Rexing as he battles, looking to get himself back into the top 4. We're back here, lap 210. Looks like we had some contact, a car into the wall, but we stay green here. Let's go back to the Whiskey Fast replay. And it is Fortner again on the inside, very eerily similar to what we saw him do about 40 or 50 laps ago, if not mistaken. I mean, that is a replay of a replay that we have already seen, Dave. So, again, kudos to him. Last time it brings out a yellow. This time, with under 50 laps to go, they stay green.
Yeah, he is able to keep it going and stay back on track. Just dropped a couple positions.
So we do stay green here as we get down to the nitty-gritty. Eric Troiano leading. Dave, if you don't mind, if you have it in front of you, I'll give you a minute. If you can run through some of the winners so far this year, I think if we do see Troiano win, it'll be for the first time in 2022.
That up real quick. Yeah, our winners this year, Van de Zandt has won 4 of the races. Pinheiro has 1 win. Everybody else that's won is not in the race tonight. Safeker, Ritter, Orselli, and Robert Aleka, who won the 500. So, yeah, definitely would be his first win of the year.
So we'll see if he can hold on here for the victory over the final 45 laps in this one from Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's been a good race. We've had a little bit of controversy. We'll have to see what some of these drivers say at the end. But if you're just joining us, back in 15th is Alex Van de Sandt. Not looking good if he wants to win this championship with Adriano Pinheiro running in the second spot.
Right now, he's looking okay. He would probably, if we interviewed him after the race right now, he probably wouldn't be as upset as if the next car is able to bump up a spot.
So if it stays here with Pinheiro second and Van de Sandt 15th, who would be your champion?
It still would be Alex Van de Sandt. Finishing 15th, he's going to end up a 90-point head, and then Pinheiro will get 40 plus 40 times 40, or 40 plus 40, 80 plus the 3. He'll get 83 points. So it'd be roughly about a 7-point victory. Van de Sandt.
So sitting there, hopefully, maybe he's even cracked a beer to take a little bit of the nerves off to see what happens here over the final 30 laps. And he's sitting there going, I just keep it how it is right here, boys. Keep what we're doing. Let's stay clean and green for this final pit stop. And hopefully it'll be Eric Troiano that holds on for the win if you're in that number 97 camp of Alex Van de Sandt.
And for drivers, they like having everything in their hands, and right now it's completely out of his hands.
Which is always the worst feeling, right? Because you know that there's nothing more that you can do, and sometimes you're just hoping that the dominoes fall correctly the way you need them to.
Battle back here for fifth. Rexing and Sudik.
Yeah, Rexing and Sudik have been battling throughout this race. Sudik up 12 spots, Rexing up 1 after starting in 6. Justin Fortner, despite the 2 spins, currently in 6, up 5 spots. Chris Wright is holding his own there in the 9th position as we have just 30 laps to go in this one. And a guy to watch out for, he is charging, is Chad Frankenfield.
Yeah, he's cut it down to under a second now on Pinheiro. He has 1 lap car between the two. Can't quite see that number.
Looks like the lead right now is 2.8 seconds.
Mark Murphy right in front. Currently running 10th. Gap to first and second now, approaching about 3 seconds.
So Troiano looking for his first win of the season. A great way to cap off the year would be for a win for Eric Troiano, as we see him there on the screen in the number 14 Red and White Privateer Racing Team. He has a nice little gap, nice little advantage, as you see there, about a half a straightaway over Adriano Pinheiro. Chad Frankenfield is currently 3rd. 4th is Nicholas Sudik, who's up 12 spots for the 4th position. And Jared Rexing is currently in the 5th spot, as we have just a little over 40 laps remaining here. It'll be 35 next time they come down. Excuse me, a little under 40 laps. 35 as they come down the line here. Eric Troiano, a guy who's been fast. He's had his struggles in qualifying this season, which may have cost him a few races, but this would be a nice end to what you might say a disappointing season. I think some thought he would be up there for the championship. He's had great pace throughout the season, but sometimes all that can be washed away, David, with a nice victory to end the season.
Yeah, I was looking back here in the pack a little bit. See, you have 1 car, I think. Weren't we at like 50 laps or so for the pit window? For El Porto may be able to go all the way. Still a lap downs. He's the only one so far that has fuel enough. Probably about 10 laps. Start green.
So we will see if these final round of pit stops, it seems like throughout this evening when it was coming up to the pit stops, we have seen some timely cautions. So we'll see. I think if you're Chad Frankenfield, Adriano Pinheiro, you're hoping for a caution to be able to come down pit road and have that last gas restart. And we'll see if Troiano decides to pit early and do the undercut or do the overcut and stay out. I would stay out I would come in about a lap or two earlier than what I think the rest of the field will do, just to be able to come in and get my service and get back out there. But we'll see the way the strategies fall here over the next several laps.
Yeah, and that would be the typical Chad Frankenfield strategy as well, but he's already been burnt by it once, so got to wonder if that enters into his mind that he came in early one time and got caught out by the yellow. Pinheiro starting to reel in Troiano a little bit. Got the gap down to 1.8 seconds.
30 laps to go. I believe Troiano had pitted about 2 or 3 laps prior to everybody else, so we shall see. And here, more important than ever, Dave, and I mean, I hate to go back and harp on Scott Dixon for 500, but you've got to be perfect. You're in on that lap. You're under a green flag pit stop situation. You've got to make it happen.
Yeah, the smallest mistake can change your whole day.
So 30 laps to go here. We should see one more pit stop. Troiano looking for his first victory of the season in the season finale here from the Gateway Motorsports Park. And again, we've seen a lot of action throughout the season. We had a great Indianapolis 500, Iowa last week. And now wrapping up at Gateway with Eric Troiano, your leader. But again, still one more round of pit stops left to go for these drivers. And David, as we've already talked about, Alex Van de Sant sitting there 15th. He is out of the race. Fingers crossed. We don't know what's going to happen here over the next 30 laps, but he still is sitting in the catbird seat to possibly be the winner of the championship for this season.
Yeah, he's liking things that he's seeing right now, but that could all change in a heartbeat. Sudik just got passed by Jeff. Frankenfield's into the pits.
Sudik, Frankenfield decide to come down pit road. There's Chad Frankenfield. He gives up the third position to come down for the final time for tires and fuel for the 15 car.
Ironic that he pits right in front of Van de Sant.
And nothing Van de Sant can do but look on and hope that things fall his way here over the remaining laps. So Sudik off pit road down the back straightaway with 25 laps to go. We'll expect to see Eric Troiano on the pit road here shortly, I would say within the next 5 laps or so. Because you start losing gap. You start losing gap with tires that are worn and the drivers behind you already pitting to move their way up and to gain more. So here we go. Eric Troiano down onto pit road. He makes his way slowly. We'll see where this cycles him back out as far as where he will be compared to the other drivers that have already came and made pit stops. Pinheiro will take over the lead momentarily. On the pit road, this time behind Van de Sant. And off he goes. So maybe a little bit more shorter fuel by going out and lasting about 3 to 4 more laps. And that seems to be the call here for Adriano Pinheiro as well. I don't believe that he has made his final pit stop of the night, so he will still have to come in with Jarek Rexing currently in the second spot. with just 23 laps to go. And David, I don't think that these guys have been able to save enough fuel over that last stint or two to be able to not come in and pit. I still think you're going to have to see tires and fuel here over the next 20 or so laps to finish this thing.
Yeah, definitely that. I don't think they can pull those out of it, that many laps out of it. Maxine's in, Ballvans is in. Fortner. Chris Wright went the longest last time. Lap 188, stayed out under that caution to see the lap.
He finds himself third right now. So staying out a little bit longer as well. So Pinheiro is your leader. Brubaker is second. Chris Wright is third. Troiano fourth, with Chad Frankenfield now fifth. Still some cycling left to do. And our leader, Adriano Pinheiro, with just 21 laps to go, hits pit road.
Yeah, so here we go. We're going to have to see how he blends back in with Frankenfield. Troiano.
Troiano goes by there. He still has to come through on around one more time. Looks like Frankenfield goes by as well with Sudik. And he will come all the way down pit road, hits his marks perfectly, which is 20 laps to go.
Troiano's on the backstretch.
And out goes Adriano Pinheiro with just he slides.
Oh no!
Out onto the racetrack, saves it. Wow!
Oh my!
Frankenfield goes by, Troiano goes by, and a costly mistake there for Adriano Pinheiro coming out of the pits. Lit it up, and it spun on him. He did a great job of saving it. This is going to cycle him back to sixth now as Jared Rexing goes by, and this certainly, David, is going to put a shakeup into the points as Troiano takes the lead. Wright continues to lead. It'll cycle through to Troiano, and Chad Frankenfield will be in second.
Yeah,
so
somewhere Alex Van de Zandt let out a little cheer, didn't he?
So Van de Zandt could still win this championship. It looked like Pinheiro was going to merge onto the course as the leader, but the back end steps out of him. He slides through the grass, does a great job of avoiding other cars. That could have been disastrous. Let's go back to the Whiskey Cask replay here, and he's already in the grass trying to save it. Troiano already goes by. And, here's what I think would happen if you're Pinheiro. You kind of see Troiano's about to go by, and you step on it a little bit too hard, and around it goes. A great job saving it there. Gets it gathered up. But you hate to see that. So some mistakes being made here late in this one as Eric Troiano has a pretty good gap over Chad Frankenfield. So Troiano cruising with just 15 laps to go. But a huge point shakeup and a huge sigh of relief right now for Alex Van de Zandt.
And I am listening to race control to see if that gets any kind of penalty, because typically you can't go back onto the track before you get to that blue cone out of the pits. And like I talked about earlier, sometimes in iRacing it's about data, and technically he did go back on the track early. So far, nothing I've heard yet.
See if there is a pit call here. Looks like we've got, we're looking at Troiano here. As I apologize, my feed is a little bit frozen. Troiano leads, Frankenfield, Sudik, Rexing, and Adriano Pinheiro. David, I'm not sure if I've lost you. If you've lost me, let me know. There we go. We're back at it.
Yep, still got you.
Good to go here with just... I'm very blurry, so I do apologize. We do know that Troiano's in the lead. I believe there should be 14 laps to go, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep,
that's 14
correct.
To go there. There's the clear picture. Troiano out to a pretty hefty lead, leading this thing by 4.31 seconds to Chad Frankenfield, who's gone to the back of the field and moved himself back up. Sudik is third, Rexing fourth, And tough luck for Adriano Pinheiro coming out of the pits, lost it. Going to cost him the win tonight, and more than likely will cost him the championship.
Del Porto moves up to 8th and is back on the lap. Not having to pit, but he quite a ways down, and he's got much older time. Last pit up to about 20 lap older.
As we get down to the nitty-gritty here, just 11 laps remaining for Eric Troiano. Stay with us. Afterwards, we will talk with the winner of tonight's race and hopefully get a word with whoever will be the champion for the spring session here, 2022, the Mega Race or the Mega Driver 86 IndyCar Series, part of the Elite Racing Network. 10 laps to go here as Eric Troiano shoots for his first win of the season.
Good battle here with Rexing and Sudik again. Whoa. Pinheiro would love to be able to get by those guys.
Pinheiro is looking to gain as many positions as he can. He's now trying that around the outside. I don't think he's going to be patient. He's going to move his way forward when he needs to. And that could be right now as he battles with Jared Rexing for the fourth position.
Second and third position in the series standings will be just figured out by who finishes higher between Porto. They were basically even coming into this race.
So Pinheiro trying that outside line, not really working. Chad Frankenfield snaking down the front straightaway, trying to hold on to that second position, as Eric Troiano has checked out to a 4.9 second lead. So the battle here for second, third, fourth, and fifth spot on the podium up for grabs here as Frankenfield leads him down into turn number 3. He is the second car on the racetrack. He is currently running second, with Sudik third, Rexing fourth, and Pinheiro in the fifth position.
Quickly running out of laps to be able to make the move if you were Pinheiro.
Certainly running out of laps here. And it's hard to get a run. Look, it's been hard to pass here all night. And we see Chad Frankenfield kind of snake drafting there to get to break that toe. As Sudik now backs up to Rexing. Rexing looks to the inside in 3, now looks to the outside. Pinheiro is going to shoot to the inside. They'll go side by side in the 1. Pinheiro makes the move, gets by Rexing, and now will go side by side and battle with Sudik for that third spot. He'll lose a little bit of momentum going into turn number 3 here. Sudik continues to hold on to that final podium spot. Pinheiro is going to make it stick on the inside. Rexing is going to look to make a move here and gain that spot. But Sudik will hold him off here as there is just 5 laps to go. Pinheiro looks to the inside on Sudik. Rexing will take to the high side. They battle side by side for that third spot down the back straightaway. Pinheiro will tuck back in line. That'll give a good toe to Rexing. Now Rexing will take that Nest quick number 10 to the inside into turn 3. He gets the third spot. And
Pinheiro's up high.
Like Pinheiro ran out of room, lost the draft, almost makes contact with the wall. He will fall back. His winning hopes and his championship hopes go by the wayside here with just 4 laps to go.
Got to gather it back together, or he's going to lose spot to Del Porto, who's now just 2 spots behind him.
So a lot of guys tonight with some bad luck, with some tough luck throughout the field, throughout this entire race, and it's really shaken up the championship. We'll talk about that after the race as well. But with just 3 laps to go, Eric Troiano leads, Chad Frankenfield second, Jared Rexing in the third position. But now Rexing battling with Nicholas Sudik, and Rexing takes that Nesquik car to the third spot. He has the final spot on the podium here in the final race of the season. He'll battle his final 2 laps with Nicholas Sudik. Rexing to the inside, holds that position. He's going to scoot up the racetrack ever so slightly. Sudik will make it stick with the shot on the outside. He takes over that third spot again, but Rexing will look to battle down into turn number 3 here with Adriano Pinheiro a little bit further back. That is a lap car as the white flag is out for Eric Troiano. Troiano with the lead, and the white flag in the air. Rexing will look to the inside here, looking for that last spot on the podium, as Pinheiro kind of battles back a little bit here, but probably a little bit too late, as off of corner number 4 for the first time this season, Eric Troiano will take the checkered flag and win at the Worldwide Technology Raceway 500 to wrap up the season. Chad Frankenfield second, Nicholas Sudik third, Jared Rexing fourth, Adriano Pinheiro fifth, and your 2022 spring season champion on the Elite Racing Network on the Mega Driver 86, sitting in the pits, finishing 15th. He is your champion. Alex Van de Zandt gets the championship despite being knocked out of this race earlier by Chad Frankenfield, and Eric Troiano picks up the victory here tonight. What a race here from the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Eric Troiano finishes one off. He gets the checkered flag. Chad Frankenfield second. Nicholas Sudik moves up 13 spots, grabs that last spot on the podium. And we'll take a look here as the Brazilian Eric Troiano burns him down here for the victory. Woo, a little bit off the wall there. I like it. And we'll see if we can get a word with Eric Troiano. I know that there is, for lack of a better term, sometimes a language barrier between some of our foreigner drivers, but a great run here by Eric Troiano to pick up the victory and to end the season on a good note. And your champion is Alex Van de Zandt. What a race we saw here tonight, David. Great season wraps up here from the Worldwide Technology Raceway, the Worldwide Technology 500 from Gateway. Your winner is Eric Troiano. He picks up the victory tonight over Chad Frankenfield, Nicholas Sudik, Jared Rexing, and Adriano Pinheiro. Your top 5 and your champion is Alex Van de Zandt. He did everything that he needed to do on the track, was involved in an incident that knocked him out of the race. And he's kind of just had to ride it out here over this last 130 or so laps to see how the dominoes fell and how the cards were dealt. And it was enough for him to pick up the championship. He is the winner of the championship, and we'll hope to talk to him here over the next few minutes.
Like the first one we got is second place, Chad Frankenfield.
Well, Chad, if you're there, I know that you are obviously apologetic and not something that you wanted to do, especially with one of the drivers that was battling for the championship. Hindsight's 2020. We look back now, it didn't cost him the title. But let's first discuss that move and what happened with the contact with Van de Zandt.
Oh, he's currently muted.
Oh, there. Sorry, you guys hear me now?
Yep, you can hear you now.
All right, sorry. Yeah, so I just misjudged it. I was behind him a bunch there, and that stint in. You have to. The only way you can pass is if you get a run off of 2, going to 3, and I just tried to time his lifting point so I could get a run off the corner, and it made my night harder as well. Obviously, doing that, but I felt so bad because he's competing for a championship. I'm doing the points as we speak, so I don't think it's going to affect his championship. But obviously I felt miserable. I definitely don't want to take anybody out. And with these cars and these short ovals, I mean, it's you literally are inches apart, and you have to be inches apart to gain any kind of an advantage. So.
Yeah, passing the night, it was difficult. It seemed, a lot of the moves that were made were delayed into the corner, but just very difficult to pass.
Yeah, definitely hard to pass, but honestly, I think it was a lot of fun because it wasn't impossible to pass. I think I screwed up on that accident there. Obviously, I put myself back because of the pitting too early, and I got myself back up to 5th. Then I had the incident with Alex, got back up to 5th. Then I had the issue where I had tires unchecked, and I was able to get back up. It's just hard once the field gets strung out. once that guy in front of you gets to about a second ahead, it's really hard to make that time up. So, yeah, it was definitely hard, but I don't think it was impossible.
A podium for you tonight to finish off the season. Assess your season, and you've had some good luck, you've had some great runs, but you've also had some bad luck. Kind of a mixed bag for you here in 2022.
Yeah, it's just one of those deals. I mean, the series is so competitive. You know, I gotta execute on the ovals. 'Cause that's where I get, that's where I'm gonna gain an advantage on the field. I feel like that's my strong point. The road courses, I'm top 5, but I won't compete for wins with Alex. So it really just comes down to execution, and you need a lot of luck too. I think if luck is on my side a little bit more, I think it makes the championship a little more interesting. But yeah, I just want to thank Kicking the Tires. I want to thank you guys from the booth. Obviously, these full distance races aren't the easiest things, but the amount of green flag racing we're having this season, I think we're averaging like under 2 hours a race. So you can't really compete. You can't really beat that with a full distance series. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys for being a part of the show.
Yeah, and we appreciate you having us and putting this thing together. I know that there's a lot more on the schedule coming up. I know IndyCar will return here, it looks like, in August. So before we let you go, let the fans and everybody listening out there know what the schedule looks like for the Elite Racing League over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so we obviously Monday we have our final race of the chase for the Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series. That'll set the final 4, and then not this Sunday, but next Sunday we have Days Gone By Vintage Pro Championship Week, where we have our champions, our championship races. So, but yeah, so Sandt actually won the championship. But if Adriano would have won the race, he would have won the championship. So, obviously there was, the drama was there, and double points, a lot of things can happen. So, but yeah, obviously the big thing too is December 9th is our Richmar Flores Indianapolis 500 presented by Open Wheel Racing Jobs. That's our big race. With it being in December, I expect to see a lot of NTT IndyCar Series guys trying to make the field. Felix Rosenquist is already committed. I'm sure we'll get some more guys. So that's going to be an epic show again, obviously this fall. And so thank you guys again. I want to thank Burnout Sports with you, Tony. I mean, you come on here and you give up your Fridays to help us out, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, make sure you guys check out the Real Life IndyCar Series here in a couple weeks. Where are they at? Mid-Ohio, July 3rd July 3rd. So I'm kind of bummed. I've been out to Mid-Ohio the last couple of years. This year I'll miss it. So hopefully everybody enjoys that. So again, thank you guys thank you Dave as well for stepping up here this season. And yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks, Chad. A second place finish to wrap up the season from the Worldwide Technology Raceway this evening. Also want to thank everybody behind the scenes, and Rish. Rish was with me a few races this year. Dave, you did a great job tonight and throughout the season. You can let me know here, Dave, if we have any other drivers ready to go. Maybe a quick. All right, so let's talk to Nicholas Sudik. He wraps up his season with a podium finish. Nick, an interesting race for you, kind of up and down throughout. You charged your way towards the front, but seemed a little bit more difficult to pass here than maybe what we've seen lately. Assess your race tonight, finishing third, and just kind of what you were going throughout the 260 laps.
Oh my God, that was an emotional roller coaster. Like, the later pit stops when that caution came out, I got trapped a lap down, like Chad Frankenfield got trapped out lap down earlier. I thought my race was over because it was so hard to pass. I had to drive the wheels off of that car. I've never had a race like that in my life. Like, and it wasn't even a win. Like, I've won league races, I've won official races, I've won a second split Indy 500 even in official, and this was like the race of my life. Holy crap! I'm speechless about it. It's incredible.
Hey, how do you run a race tonight knowing that you want to win, but there is a championship kind of going around you as well? How do you race that? And do you know on the track where these guys are and to maybe race them? I mean, Chad apologized. It wasn't his intention to knock out Van de Sandt, but is that something conscious in your mind as you're going here? You want to win the race and you want to be aggressive, but you kind of got to know where those championship leaders are.
Yeah, always you want to have a little bit of track awareness, especially going into like the last round or two of a title streak. Um, yeah, especially with three drivers technically in contention too. But a lot of us in this field, and I could see that even like racing like Jared at the end, and Adriano and I have ran a bunch of officials together, and Alex. I almost go into it. I just want to race the race that I know I'm gonna do. Like if it's late in the run, yeah, of course I'm gonna give somebody a little bit of leadway, especially if they're battling. But honestly, if you drive less predictable than you have during the season, or you like only go like 95% pace, it's gonna cause chaos. And like I said, it's unfortunate that happened. Because that did shake up, provided great viewership for the viewers and you guys, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you want to just go through it and just pay respect. And I think the best respect you can give is giving 100% at all times. So for that, for my own sponsors and like the league sponsors too, like that's what we want to see. So.
Well, we want to give you a chance to thank some of those sponsors, and I'm going to go ahead. David and I talked about this throughout the broadcast. I'm going to give you the Livery of the Year award. I love what I call the bubblegum scheme throughout the season. It's always easy to pick out on the race course. So go ahead and shout out some of your sponsors and talk about the livery on that car.
Well, first off, shout out to my boy Zach Spreitzer, who does a lot of Indy Fixed running. He made that livery for the ERL 500 last season when I made my debut here. And I will be having a new one for the next season, of course, too, because I got a couple new people on board. I got to thank the Ohio DDR community, the Ohio rhythm game community. I'm a big rhythm game player. I do the dance games as well every now and then. If you check out my Twitter, at NJ Sudik. Shout outs to Arcade Monsters. If you're down in the Florida area, Arcade Monsters has some of the best entertainment, food, and late night arcade action. I have a couple locations down there and they're expanding. Team Watson Racing and Team Watson Racing Setups opening up shop this season. Check them out. They have a great MX5 setup every week, and I have been farming with that. So. And I'm not even a road guy, and I've been learning a lot from it. So, but yeah, and you guys as well, the league sponsors for Elite, Ethan for hanging on for one more season next season as well too, Mega Driver 86, and I think I'm done. I'm spent. I'm gonna go eat some pizza, honestly. Thank you guys.
All right, enjoy that pizza and enjoy your weekend. We appreciate it as always, Dave. I don't know if we have anybody else, but your final thoughts here on the season and the season finale.
Yeah, we got the champion. Alex is in here.
All right, Alex Van de Sandt joins us. He is your champion. Probably not the way that you wanted to win it here on the last night. Talk about that incident with Chad Frankenfield and then kind of playing the wait and see game through those final 130 or so laps.
Yeah, I honestly thought it was over with the. I mean, there was the pit lane points penalty for that incident, and I knew Adriano was fast. Like, it was going to be so hard for anybody to get him and get around him, and so yeah, just I was waiting around helping Nick out, and I was first time I'm gonna be honest, first time I've like cheered for Eric to win a race there, but yeah, I don't quite know how he got out in front on that restart, but yeah, just. I wish I could have been there at the end, obviously, to fight it out and finish the full race. But you know, things happen, so I can't be too upset about it because I won. So it's yeah, just really proud to get 2 in a row, another one, and definitely one of my cleaner seasons too. Just it was solid most of the way through it. Fell off a little bit at the end, I guess, but overall, just from the beginning, I had some good runs.
You know, talk about kind of your approach the first 100 or so laps. You know, you obviously wanted to get a finish. You wanted to make sure that you won the championship, you know, on the course. But talk about just the way that you kind of approach tonight, right? Like, if you got a third place car, you got a third place car. If you got a you got a fifth place car, you got a fifth place car. Obviously, it was never in the cards to get taken out, but was your approach just to stay consistent and bring that thing home in the top 10?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I had to finish 14th or better, and anything up there would have been fine. Obviously, you always want to go for a win, though. So yeah, I think I was on a strategy that would have gotten me at least a top 3 at that point. But yeah, first time Chad ended up behind me, and he was on a tear. I don't think he realized I was fuel saving there, and yeah, I can't say I haven't done that to other people here too. I've totally murdered 1 or 2 people doing that. So yeah, it happens, but I wanted to just survive as long as I could, wait for people to get taken out, and then maybe go for it, and just didn't quite get there. So oh well.
Well, congratulations, your 2022 champion, Alex Van de Sandt. Enjoy the offseason. We'll see you here over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And a big shout out to my teammate, Nick Sudik. He did a fantastic job fending off those guys at the end there. It was cool to help coach him through that and keep his head in the game. And yeah, really, really fun racing with him and AJ and Craig this season too, working with those guys. So yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, congratulations on the championship. All right, Dave, what a great night we had. An absolute fantastic run towards the finish. We had some drama. Eric Troiano is your winner, with Alex Van de Sandt your champion from the Worldwide Technology Raceway, wrapping up the Elite Racing League Mega Driver 86 season. For Dave, Chad, Rish, and everybody else here that puts this on, thank you guys so much. We'll see you at a racetrack near you. Have a great rest of your weekend.